Yes.
me in person.
Yes, it was. It was pretty rad. And I just have to say this.
Sweet.
That's what that is. It's very sweet. So, okay, we're winding down. Looks like we're going to go a little over than what we'd hoped, but that's okay. You guys are with us. We've got an adultitis fighter we need to talk about.
Yes, we do.
All right, guys, we lost a very special adultitis fighter in the last week. Mr. Paul Rubens, best known as Pee Wee Herman. And
I was going to bring tape and tape up
yeah,
my
so
nose.
there's so many things. There's so many things. Like, so I got my little Funko Pop. We should have did a word of the day is what we should have done if I was really planning it really well. But this guy, I mean. It's hard to argue the impact he made on making people laugh, there were so many catchphrases in my childhood. You know, I know you are, but what am I? And I'm so funny, I forgot to laugh. I think was one of them. Haha. But I thought it would be kind of cool to share a little bit about the history of Paul and his character. So he was actually 70 years old when he passed away just this past week or so. He had a private battle with cancer. But his big movie, Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure, came out in the summer of 1985. So for me, that was right smack dab in the middle of my childhood. Some of you maybe weren't quite a little young yet. Some of you were probably teenagers or older. But it was kind of interesting. He was born in New York, and he grew up in a Jewish family in Sarasota, Florida. His mom was a teacher, and his dad was an automobile salesman. And he, because he was in Florida a lot, the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus had their winter headquarters in Sarasota. So he would often hang out at the circus, which is where he got interested in entertainment. Was kind of neat. As he got older, he loved watching reruns of I Love Lucy. And he was either... Oh, and when he was 5 years old, get this, you guys. When he was 5 years old, he asked his dad to build him a stage where he and his siblings would act out plays. So it's just a good example of, like, you never know what kind of spark when if you got little kids or grandkids and what kind of interests they have. If you just kind of nudge them a little bit and encourage them, what kind of things that could come out of that. So the character of Pee Wee Herman actually originated as an improv exercise in 1978 with a group called the Groundlings. He came up with the idea of a man who wanted to be a comic but was so inept at telling jokes that it was obvious to the audience that he would never make it. One of his fellow Groundlings was Phil Hartman, which many of you will know from Saturday Night Live. And was also in the Pee Wee Herman show for a season.
That's right.
He actually helped him develop the character, and another Groundling, John Paragon, helped write the show. Interestingly, his name, Pee Wee, came from a harmonica that he had when he was a boy. It said Pee Wee on it. And Paul Rubens said, Pee Wee Herman sounds like a name that is so odd that no one would make it up. So it sounded real to him. He's like, no one would make that name up. And he said it went hand in hand with what I wanted to do, which was to make people think this was a real person, not an actor. By the way, I also dug up a picture of what Paul looked like when he was in high school. This is Pee Wee Herman in high school, you guys. He, like, what? Right? That's awesome.
He was in high school.
Yes. He was just a regular old dude in high school, had no idea. But talking about wanting to, like, have kind of blur the lines of reality, to further enforce the idea that Pee Wee Herman was a real person, whenever Rubens appeared as Pee Wee Herman in the credits, it just said Pee Wee Herman as himself. So it was never Paul Rubens. His famous gray suit was a loaner suit he got from a guy named Gary Austin. He said he never gave it back. Someone gave him a kid's black bow tie, which he later changed out for a red one. And the white shoes he had were his. He said he just kind of mixed it up,
Famous.
sort of had success with it, so he thought, why mess with it if it isn't broke? A couple final little facts that were kind of neat. He basically kickstarted Tim Burton's career. He following the success of the Pee Wee and Herman show, the Warner Brothers approached Rubens about turning Pee Wee into a movie star, and Tim Burton was actually the one who brought the movie to the big screen. And Rubens watched Frankenweenie, and he said, I knew right away Tim was the director that I needed to have about 15 seconds into it. And so Tim went on to do a lot of other stuff like Edward Scissorhands and the first Batman movie and things like that. And here's another one. Some of you that remember Pee Wee's Herman, you'll remember the theme song. I should have
Dun, dun,
played
dun, dun, dun. Is that it?
No, that's The Simpsons. Good try. Good try. But anyway, the person who sang it was credited as Ellen Shaw, but that was a made-up name. The person who actually sang the theme song was Cyndi Lauper.
Really?
And
how does it go?
Well, now that you've got the Simpsons thing in my head, I can't think of it. But
anyone
someone
know?
can Google it.
Yeah.
So she had just released her hit single True Colors at around that time, which was a little bit more of a serious song, and so she said people couldn't accept both at the same time. So she's like, I didn't want to kind of muddy the waters with doing a silly song like Pee Wee's Playhouse. That's like the end of it, kind of goes like that. Just kind of came to me. So anyway, as I was reading some of the other things, like at the beginning when he first came out with the character, he really didn't necessarily think about it that much for like to be a kids only sort of thing, but he said as it became more popular, he was because he was a chain smoker, I guess, and so he said after it started to take off, he would never allow anyone to see him smoking in the Pee Wee Herman character outfit or whatever, and so he really put a lot of effort into making the show good.
How many seasons?
Which, I mean, there are so many people who worked on that show. It was like such an artistic phenomenon. I don't know how many seasons there were, but so he's really, it's one of those things where you kind of like maybe don't take him seriously because he was so silly, but he took his craft and his character very seriously and had a huge impact. So
after he passed, there was a lot of cool tributes going around the internet, and I one thing I saw in several people's posts was his just sincere friendship and excitement for people's birthdays. So I thought that was a neat Adultitis Fighter thing. If you were friends with Pee Wee Herman or Paul, you would receive like a ton of different GIFs and memes and messages on your birthday. Not one, but tons of them, because he just wanted people to feel very special on their birthdays. So, there's just little details like that that were very much Adultitis fighting material, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of good, funny little quotes about, I see Al mentioned about Large Marge that said when Pee Wee passed away, just to call up to heaven and say, tell him Large Marge sent you. So it was good stuff.
Yep.
All right, well, that is, we're getting to the end here. Just wanted to, one more shout out.
Oh, Steven.
What do we got there? Steven. You can't tell what that says, but it looks like a window.
Oh, there we go.
Waving through a window. There you go.
Oh,
he's got the wave. Good job. He always puts a little twist on it. Puts a little twist. So yes, if you are still interested, take advantage of the Must Be Nice pre-order before. We've got a couple weeks left if you want to get some of the pre-order bonuses. Again, the doors are open to the Wonder and Whimsy Society for a few, like week and a half, something like that. The 22nd. And so the show and tell people, Tracy, Rich, Steve, and Amy, you guys are our winners tonight. We will be in touch with you. You will all get to pick out a mini print of your choice. Could be one of the new ones we just came out with, or any of the other ones that are not currently retired.
Yes.
So we'll be in touch with you guys to pick out which one you want. And
it was neat too to see how many people raised their hands. So sorry we didn't get to everyone. We knew the show was going to go a little later tonight with all the new stuff. But thank you for your interest in participating. So
absolutely,
we'll hope that we'll do something like that again next time.
Yep, yeah. We will be in the backstage right after this. We'll close out this meeting, jump on the other one. Hope to see any members there. But yes, that was it. I think this went pretty good. I think we'll do this again. Thank you guys. That is it for this show. Until next time, Adultitis Fighters.
Shine on, spread whimsy, and keep being awesome. Take care, you guys. See ya.